My name is Esther. I work in the nurse education team, and I thought I'll use this opportunity to talk a little bit about working from home. So I initially started off by working downstairs. I used the dining room, and so I then, sort of made a decision that it might be better if I actually had a more designated space. So I've now come upstairs. So I work in one of the rooms, and I've got a desk, and which then means, of course, that I can come into the room and start the day, almost as if I'm going into the office. And at the end of the day, I can actually shut everything down and walk out of the room and shut that door. So that, that has been useful in terms of perhaps creating those boundaries about workspace and home space. I know that other tips that people have shared, of course, is to shut things down and to be almost ritualistic in terms of how you start the day and how you end the day. And I try to keep to some of these things that I used to do when I was at work, so I dress for work. I don't normally wear my badge, but I know some people say they wear their badges, and that, putting it, the donning and the doffing of the badge, of the ID, I'm saying badge, I mean the ID. And that seems to, seem to be quite significant for some people. But what I do is, as I finish work, when I leave the room, I change my clothes. So, sort of that work clothes and home clothes. And I think that that change sort of really reminds me, sort of in my head, that I've now finished work, and I think that's also quite helpful for me. During work, again, it's I try and remember about those breaks, and also doing a bit of stretching. I'm very interested in stretching, and so I sort of do little exercises whilst I'm at my desk. So ankle rotations, wrist rotations, and even sort of sort of really making sure that my back is nice and straight, and even sort of neck rotations. But just trying to cultivate these things and to just introduce them into almost like the daily routine of day-to-day work. I know sometimes at work it can get quite busy, and it is everything needs to be everything needs to be quite hasty. But I sometimes make tea in a pot, so using tea leaves. So that's that little bit of slowing down, so things are not done too hastily, and to try and avoid quick meals. So meals that take a bit of preparation, so you're not just eating something very quickly. I know that's not always possible, and sometimes your time doesn't allow for it. But I have found that it's if you just slow some of those things down, that it's almost that idea of mindfulness, that you are being mindful about how you do things, that can actually be quite helpful. So I find it seems to sort of settle my mind. It seems to make me feel more sort of composed in myself. And, remembering those good practice rules about not looking and reading off the computer for long periods. So really making sure that you can take time out and looking away. I'm sitting by a window, so just looking out the window for sort of so I'm not straining my eyes. So I do sort of pay attention to some of those sort of things. So I find those sort of things really can make a difference in terms of helping me to cope with the sort of working from home.